Hello and welcome to another episode of Fulham Chronicles. Hello, Melinda.
Hello, Zara. You're back. I missed you last time.
It was absolutely awful being there and knowing that you're here recording, but I heard it was an amazing episode.
I flew solo. You'd be proud of me.
Happy days.
So today in the studio we have Paola di Lanzo, who's the founder of Paola's Body Bar, a Pilates and bar studio here in Fulham. You're also a Fulham resident as well.
I am indeed.
Yeah. Well, a
Hello,
celebrity,
ladies.
so to speak. Everybody that
no.
loves, well, in a very good way. I think everybody that loves Pilates and everybody, that loves quality, and I've experienced it firsthand, professionalism, comes to you.
Oh, thank you. That's
yeah.
kind.
Well, should we start, obviously, in the beginning? This is always our line. Funny that. But since when Fulham? And why Fulham?
Why
Moved,
Fulham?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
going
my
back.
Oh, this is a long story. So in 1998, I decided to escape Perth, Western Australia. My parents were going through a rough divorce. I was in my 20s, late 20s, and I fell apart. I was partying and not happy with my life and just wanted to escape. So I went to Italy to see my auntie. And I ate, you know what it's like in Italy, as you're half Italian.
Yes.
Got fed by the zia,
Yeah.
my zia, and a lot of very good food. I went jogging every day. I just wanted a healthy lifestyle. So she's in the Campagna, the countryside.
Yes.
And I spent 3 months there. And then I decided to leave Italy to visit a friend in France. And that's when I got a phone call. Thanks, Damien. That's why I'm stuck here. Paola, where are you? Come to London. I was like, no way, done London, don't like it, hate it, spent a year there when I was 21. It's cold, it's miserable, the food is disgusting.
Yes.
This was when I was 21. Bear in mind, I'm 55.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And I pretty much didn't like the cold weather. I was a surfy chick, as in I hung out at the beach, I lived near the beach, all my boyfriends were surfers. So it was a hard no from me. And then I went off actually on a surfing trip with 2 guys from Perth, and there he was again calling. I don't know how we called back then. There were no mobiles. I don't know how we actually called each other. Maybe he called the
In a phone
landline.
book somewhere.
Can't really remember, or maybe I called him.
Yeah.
Did we have mobiles then?
98,
90s.
yes.
Yeah, of course we.
Yes.
Okay, maybe he
Motorola.
he would have
Nokia.
text messaged me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was again, please come to London, please come to London. So I cracked, and he was living on Harbord Street,
Oh.
and that's where I landed, and I never left.
That was it.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
It's very
literally
funny.
never left.
Yeah, but it's very
Well,
funny
obviously
how
I've left.
people are drawn to Fulham
Yeah,
in moments in their lives where, they're a bit lost. And it gives you, because it's a little village, as you love to call it, it gives you this sense of belonging, and it's not
Yeah.
too much. And it's lovely.
there was also a lot of Australians in the area at that time, so I knew quite a few people living in the area. Then I went to Chelsea for 2 years, came back to Chelsea, and always came back to Fulham.
All right, I wanted to know more, Paola.
So
PBB.
Damien had a job interview lined up.
Do you want to say who Damien is?
Damien is just a friend, not a boyfriend, it was
Yeah.
a friend from Perth.
Okay.
And he was in banking and living here, and he had a big group of Aussie friends, and I knew some of those friends, and that's why I never left. I was enjoying myself, but in a different way to how I experienced it when I was 21. So he lined up a job interview at the Peak, which was called in the Colton Towers Hotel. And it was a very high-end boutique gym. Back then, in 98, there weren't any boutique gyms, really. And
As in belonging to a
there
gym?
were
To
the
a
likes
hotel.
of A-listers and royals. And so I think I got a little bit starstruck and didn't leave there for a few years. And whilst I was there, I met, not my husband in there, in the period that I was working there as a personal trainer, I met my ex-husband, Marcus. Okay.
Right.
So
yes.
then a client who used to come backwards and forwards from LA kept talking about Pilates. Back then, even a plank was foreign to me. It was like, what's a plank? I didn't know what a plank. We were doing heavy lifting.
It's extraordinary.
We were doing like heavy weights. We were on the Nautilus machines, and My fitness career started actually when I was 18. So I was in those G-string leotards teaching aerobics when I was 18.
Oh, with the leg warmers?
Yes, while I was at university.
I've only, I only got to 80 parties. I don't know. I'm a 90s
I mean, they're
baby.
pretty hideous, aren't they? Actually.
Your friend from LA came back and she brought...
So she was a client and
Yeah.
she kept talking about Pilates. She was pregnant. She said, this is brilliant for pre and post. I was pregnant with Sophia. And rather than going to a class, I just signed up for the course. So I got to the course and within 3 hours I was like, what am I doing? What is this? This is tedious, it's boring, because obviously when you start from scratch, it's all broken down, it's very basic. It's level 1, then you go to level 2, level 3, blah, blah, blah. So for me, in that first, I don't know whether it was 2 days, 3 days, I wanted to escape because I'm very hyperactive, I'm ADHD, and this was just too slow, too controlled. But then I grew to love it and I never looked back. So that was the story.
I always say, especially when you're like that, super hyperactive or whatever, when you find your thing, your creativity in any, with your photography and, even though I think Melinda is very calm as an individual.
Yeah.
But gosh, when she's
Unlike
not
me.
calm. But it's literally like me. I
can tell
like
you're
you.
calm.
Yeah, I'm
You're
so
hyperactive.
like you, and I'm so ADHD.
That's the Italian.
I'm like, yeah, right. So we know how the Pilates. So you finished the course, and then was it PBB first?
No,
Fulham?
this is
right.
this is in 2002.
Okay.
When I started the course.
Right.
And because I had just had Sophia, it took me, say, 3 years to complete it. I was doing, back then it wasn't, as I call it, a Kellogg's cornflakes in the packet course.
Yeah, it's more intensive.
You can't do it in 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
So you did the course.
So, yeah. So
was a young
she's
mum,
keeping us on track.
Yeah, exactly. You've got
She does that
So
quite
I
often.
did the course, I had Sophia, and I grew to love it, as I said. But because my background was fitness, I started fusing together my fitness training. I used to do courses with a guy called Paul Check. So that was functional training. So I started mixing up mat Pilates.
Hey, wait.
Yeah.
Boom. Now I understand what this fusion is all about.
Yeah.
So it's like a cocktail. It's
This
a
is-
fusion.
yes.
In
This
which
is your
people
own
don't
method.
know.
Yes.
But people, let's.
It has always been, when I taught one-on-one and like rehab and postnatal or small group classes when I started, it was always just what was taught by Michael King and his team. He's incredible, by the way. Michael King, he's one of the OGs, just putting it out there for you. And I loved the traditional repertoire, but I also loved to be creative and I loved my fitness background. And obviously I went to university and I wanted to bring in all my knowledge and all the courses I'd done and fuse it together. This is before Barre. So Paola's Body Bar didn't come till much later.
Is it bar related to dancing?
But this came in the latter years.
Oh, right.
So it's Pilates
So it's
first.
Pilates
It was
first.
Pilates. Then I started mixing it up and playing with the fusions at the Harbour Club. So I used to
remember,
start
that's when
with
I
10 people. And then before I knew it, I had like 40 people weekly. And I'd have the purists, that's not Pilates. And I'd say, I didn't say it was. It is the foundations and the principles of Pilates that I'm applying. And I'd mixed it with functional training and my fitness routines, which wasn't anything groundbreaking. But no one had really done that type of fusion here anyway. So then there were a lot of people flocking to come and try, teachers. They were going, wow, that's quite cool. By this point, I'd had my second child. I was still at the Harbour Club. Then I started teaching in KX. I started teaching in Grace Belgravia. This was before the PBB era. So I've got 2 kids and I'm running around doing classes. 2 years later, my marriage started falling apart, and little Georgie was just, I think he was only 18 months old, or nearly 2. And I thought, I've got to kick this up because we're going through a divorce. I was going backwards and forwards to Australia, and bar was huge. So I tried a few bar classes. I'm like, too cheesy. Am I allowed to say too American? It was just, I didn't think that the way they taught it would fit the British market with the hip swinging and the, I don't know, it was just
theatrical
and bouncy. It was just all a bit much for me.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not cool. So I did a bar course, went to tons of bar classes and created my own version of it. I was by no stretch of the imagination a ballerina as much as I wanted to be. Mum didn't want me to go to ballet. I took myself to ballet at the age of 10 and then quit when I was 16 because boys and beach and surfing and all of that. But I always loved ballet, and I had a little bit of it in the body. I wasn't like the ballerinas that were teaching for me, but I can still get the shapes and form to a degree. I mean, some people watching might beg to differ. But anyway, it was my passion. So I fused it together, and I started teaching those fusions in Grace Belgravia, in the Harbour Club, in KX. This is before KXU. And back then I was calling it Power Bar, not Paola's Body Bar. And one day I got a call from the management of KX, and they said, we want to have a chat. Your classes are popular, everyone loves them. We want to know whether you're interested in collaborating with a new project that we've got on the cards, which was KXU. We would like to put your brand inside KXU, and of which we're still there 9 years later, and we have almost 40 classes a week there. Simultaneously, I was approached to go into the South Kensington Club. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I used to,
And we managed 45 classes in there, inclusive of mat Pilates, which was more traditional, reformer, and PBB. But then, unfortunately, COVID came, Grace disappeared, which was such a shame. It was such a lovely ladies' club. And SKC is no longer here. KXU is still there. We're still with them. And then I launched PBB in 2000, and the actual studio in 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was actually before KXU. Sorry, I got the timeline wrong. When we opened, there was Barre.
Yeah.
Again, that was I think it was like a repackaged American format. So I'd go to Barre. I have nothing against Barre, but it just wasn't me. And they were pretty much the only very well-known bar studio, I think, at that time in 2013. So when I opened, and it was this crazy different type of fusion with the yoga stretches and the functional, we had all these different fusions. There's like 6 different fusions. We literally had people flying there. So when I opened, I hit the ground running. We went into profit in the first year. There were even paparazzi at the door.
Oh, no way.
Because we had all the girls from Made in Chelsea and all these like girlies
I remember
running, and it was on off Munster Road. Can you believe it? We were so off the beaten track. I was like, whoa, but happy for it because I needed the money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy.
Watch me.
It was never easy, as you know, with small children. It was tough. It was next door to my house. I was running in, running out. So by the time 2013 had come, I forgot to tell you that I was already divorced. I was 2 years into the divorce. I was with Tom, and then we had little Rafi. Rafi was a tiny baby at that point.
Oh my goodness.
So I was running in and out. I don't even know if I was breastfeeding at that point.
You forgot.
It's all a blur.
Yeah, it's
no,
all
no,
a blur.
I
No,
wasn't.
honestly.
I wasn't breastfeeding, but I was running in so that I could be with Rafi in between classes. And at the beginning, there was only three teachers that were teaching PBB, and the rest were like, we had a strength and conditioning guy, and we did TRX. So we had a lot of different things under one roof. And then slowly we started training more trainers. But back then I was literally teaching 7 to 8 classes a day. By the end of the week, I couldn't even speak. I couldn't give anything to my family. And Tom was like, this has got to stop. This is too much. So 2 years later, Mum got diagnosed with terminal cancer. So I spent 3 to 4 months flying in, flying out, flying in. It was hell. Eventually, we knew that she was going to pass away. On the very last trip, I came back and I said to Tom, I need the whole space. We need to take the whole space. We need to take the upstairs as well as the downstairs. So I'm going to approach the landlord and ask if we can have 2 floors, and we put reformer upstairs, PBB under it, and we'll kick it up again. And so I left it for a while. I didn't approach them at that point. Towards the very end, the doctor said, you need to go back to your family. We don't know. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be 3 weeks, but you've got your other small children to get back to. So I flew back, and funnily enough, the day Made in Chelsea was filming in the studio. Just before the filming session, my sister called and said, you need to get on a plane and you need to come back. And I was due to run in next door to film with MIC, and I just went, performance, shut everything down, went in there, and then I ran out.
I've got goosebumps.
Totally broke down. We booked a flight, and I think it was like the next day that I flew out. It was horrendous. I landed in Perth International Terminal, and the flight attendant from first class came running down. She said, you need to run. Oh,
gosh. Yeah.
She said, you need to run. You're not getting your bags. All the security knows you're coming. You're not going to have your bags. Leave everything. You need to sprint, and you need to sprint as fast as you can. Your auntie's at the other end.
Oh, my gosh.
So I got in the car, and my auntie said, she's literally got up to minutes. We're not 100% sure, but we need to fly there. So we got there, and Mum had been put into an induced coma so the day I left, the day after, she didn't speak again, and she was hospitalised again and got put into an induced coma, with morphine. And I ran into the hospital room, my sisters were, and I said, Mum, do you know that I'm here? Can you hear me? And she bolt right sat up and went, yeah. It didn't even sound like her. And then went back, never spoke again, but she lasted a whole week. And I was in the room with her for the whole week with my sisters. We slept with her.
She wanted you to know that she could hear you and that you were there. That's
so that was quite
I'm glad you made it.
Traumatising, to say the least.
My gosh.
So then going back to me wanting to take the whole space, because it was like a decision to open a studio on a wing and a prayer, I didn't have the business acumen. No one had explained leases or anything. I went on this rolling contract. So when I approached the owner or the charity that owned the building, they said, well, yes, we're also, because I said, we're outgrowing the space. And he said, well, we're also outgrowing you.
No.
And you have
Oh my goodness.
3 weeks to vacate the premises.
My gosh.
So, but my mother just passed away. How can you do this to me? This is my business. I've built it for 2 years, 3 years almost. No. So anyway, I fought hard, and they gave me 3 months, and it was devastating. So in that 3 months, by this point, I had 10 trainers. I was like, right. I went banging on every studio door. I went to the hotspot yoga. Do you want to put PBB Method in here? They said yes. We went into the into the hotspot. We were in the detox kitchen. We ended up in Gap. We ended up in Sweaty Betty. We were in a yoga place in Clapham called Cooler. We were in, then we got approached, then snowboarded. You can cut that. Then it snowboard. I can't snowboard for the life of me. It snowballed, and we then ended up in Method Movement in Earls Court. We ended up in KXU, like I said. Where else were we? Lorna Jane. Yeah, wow. Lorna Jane. Then I opened a studio in Wimbledon after this. Opened another one in Guildford. And
how did you get back to Fulham then?
This is not a great story. So then
you're full of them.
So then we're everywhere, and I'm training more and more trainers just to put people like trainers to teach the PBB method everywhere, but I don't have my own studio. So I'm looking
at how clever that was. You know, like you know, people would have given up. My mum, you know,
I was just
I've
got my mum's ring on. And her name is Catena Forte, which means strong chain. And I would always look at my ring, which is her ring, and I'm like, she wants you to keep going. Yeah. Keep going. And my mum had said that before she passed. Yeah. Don't give up. Keep going. So that's what I've done. This is the story behind it.
The journey that got you to this point.
I think it's important, you know, for everyone to know. But yeah, so the Fulham studio.
So then I started looking for sites, but because I only had run my own studio for 3 years. There were other businesses coming in and gazumped me on the sites that I wanted because they're obviously financially backed or they had a history, a longer history. So I kept looking, kept getting gazumped. So a girlfriend of mine who was a property developer said, look, you should use this woman. She's a property finder. It's expensive, but she will get you the right site. I really wanted Fulham, but then eventually she found. Do you remember the Purple Dragon?
Yes, I do. On the King's Road.
Yeah.
And is it King's
Road?
No,
the one that was.
Battersea.
No, not the Battersea one. The one behind Sloane Square, Pimlico. So she found this gigantic unit. Yeah. And then I had money because I had my dear mother's inheritance, and I didn't obviously want to blow it all on the business, but I had money to put into the business. So we find this site. It's amazing. It's 3,500 square feet. My dear friend Nikki Murray helped me out. She's an interior designer. She did all the interiors. It was supposed to have a cafe, a reformer room, a PT room, treatment room. This is 2017 at this point. And obviously a big PBB bar room, which we would have fusion classes, TRX, because that's what we were doing back then. Yoga. So I sign a lease. It's a 10-year lease with a 5-year break clause. Now, this particular building was all glass. Think of a glass cube.
I know exactly which one is it. Yeah.
And my property finder had told me implicitly that this was a soundproofed site because it was supposed to be a restaurant. And soundproofing had to go along the whole circumference and the ceiling. It wasn't soundproofed. So the bill that should have been 300 grand went up to 700 grand, of which I didn't have. And I'd already signed on the dotted line. And the council had said I can have the change of use on the proviso that there was no noise coming through that site, through the walls, through the windows or through the ceiling. But we were told it was soundproofed.
Oh my God.
She did a runner, never saw her again. Yeah. So then I'm stuck with this site, a 10-year lease. Very soon I have to start paying rates and rent, obviously, because your rent-free period doesn't last forever. We can't start the build because we don't have the money. So then I had one round of investors and I pulled out on them because I didn't trust them. That's a really long story, but it was all a bit dodgy. And then I approached someone and he said, not to get money off him, to ask for help. How can I retain some of the money? I'd already put in 100 grand for all the lawyers' fees, the architects, the this, the that. There's a lot of things that go behind it. So it was almost 100 grand at this point. Yeah, advertising. We started advertising. And he said, why do you want to get rid of it? And I said, because I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's too stressful. I've got 3 kids. I've got small children. I will go find something smaller. I'm fine at the moment. I'm in all these different sites and we're doing okay without the PBB standalone studio. He said, no, don't give up. We're going to have a look at this. Bring your deck tomorrow. Let's have a look. And they pledged to invest. They come to look at the site. He looked at it for 2 seconds. I'm like, why are you only looking at it for 5 minutes? He said, no, I'm done. We're going for a board meeting. I said, with who? I'm not prepared. I don't have my laptop or anything. I thought it was a site meeting. And I'm in a room full of men. Do you know what he said? How many years do you reckon she's got left in her? And I looked at him and said, how many have you got left in you? You're much older than me. Anyway, there was all this banter. And I do like him. But, yeah, they are investors.
Yeah.
And they wanted 50%. And I think everything was a bit of a mess business-wise on my end anyway. They probably thought I was a liability. And because it took time to learn how to run the business.
Of course.
But they pulled out 9 months later, and then I lost another 100 grand. So at the end, with all the court fees of pulling out of the lease, I had all my reformers in there and everything.
Oh my!
They got taken,
Yes.
everything. I lost 300 grand.
Yeah.
So then I found PBB Fulham, where we are now, and it was supposed to be.
When
That
what
was
year are we
8
now?
years ago. 9 years ago.
Okay.
Nearly. Yeah. But it was supposed to be temporary. Because I didn't think it would work.
Like you staying in
but
London
I
was
didn't,
supposed to be temporary.
I didn't think it would work on that roundabout. But we're in the sweet spot for the people that live along Bishop's Park, the girls from Putney. We even had girls from Barnes coming down. So we stayed there longer. And I also didn't have it in me to go through that whole
process again.
Agony of, I was frightened by that, I've got to say.
Yeah. Well, it works, right?
Yes, but it doesn't mean that I'm not still looking.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at a site yesterday, so watch this space.
Is that to expand again? Or
I won't tell you where it is, but it's not Fulham.
Well,
I'm not leaving Fulham.
Okay, so
Exciting.
I'm staying there.
yeah, I think everybody will
It
be
works.
so sad.
People love it. And
Yeah.
we've got the cafe, we've got Natty's,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah,
got
it's a community.
Elliot's got the Reformer studio next door. It's a little hub.
Yeah.
Really
So
nice.
it's really cute.
No, I
there.
really think it's a little hub. There's like a
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
That's
Look,
how
it's
that was
not-
the feeling when I went in.
It's not like the dream I had, like I had in the other site, with a cafe and really high end and.
But it's
but
working.
we love it.
You
It's
love
home.
it. It's cozy.
Yeah,
It's home.
it's
Exactly.
cozy. It's
You know,
very
the next
cozy.
step can be that you will like, and then is your retirement.
I don't think I'd ever go big like that anyway. So
Yes.
when I say I'm looking at sites, they're cute,
Yes.
small,
Yeah.
Manageable.
homely, manageable
Manageable,
is a
yeah.
word at this age.
Yeah.
Like he said, how many years have I got left in me? I wonder.
There's no stopping you, I think. I've only met you today, but I think there's no
Yeah.
stopping you.
No.
But then also
Maybe.
then from where you are now, it's perfect little stroll down to Lighthouse Social.
Yes.
Yes. What a
So-
beautiful building.
I love it there. That's my new home. I'm always there. I'm working from there. I'm teaching there. So I had a meeting a year ago with a dear friend, Emily, who works with the Lighthouse Social. She worked with me at KX, not KXU. That's how we know each other. And she sat me down and said, there's this private members club coming. Would you be interested in coming onto the committee? Which I did. So that's how it started. I went on the committee, still am on the committee. And now I do weekly classes in the Fulham Pier. It's a separate thing. That's for all the public. I do monthly events, Pilates and PBB Fusion, if you want to call it that, and Pilates events for the Lighthouse Social every month. We've done half-day retreats for the Lighthouse, half-day retreats for the Fulham Pier and panel talks. Yeah, very involved there. I love
They're
it.
amazing,
It's a beautiful
Melinda. You should
community. The view is second
It's
to none.
phenomenal,
Have you
yeah.
seen?
Yeah,
have you
it's
seen?
fabulous, yeah. No, it's
So
amazing.
yeah, I wish that was my studio. But
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yes. So we're loving it there.
That's so good.
So, should we just talk a little bit about your affiliation with Mayfair?
Yes. So we joined MAD in Mayfair. They have an amazing studio on the King's Road. You probably heard of MAD, and it's a Legree studio on King's Road, and we are in their mini studio, which is above their Legree studio in Mayfair, where we run PBB, and they've got yoga and classical Pilates as well.
Wonderful. So there is something that we always do with every guest. Do not be scared. So we're asking something called an on-the-spot question.
Uh-oh.
So that can be personal, it can be, you can say, nobody said pass, but you can be first.
So mine's a bit of a funny one, but because you're a lovely mix of Australian and Italian.
Yeah.
Keeping to the positives, if you could teach the Brits a thing or two, what is a really beautiful Italian trait and a fantastic Aussie trait that you wish was more evident in us Brits?
That's a good one.
Affection.
Ah, okay.
I'm overly affectionate. Yeah, I'm quite huggy.
Was that Italian? Is that the Italian? Or?
I'd say because my parents are both Italian, and then the other one. Can we just smile and say hello to each other? I literally had this conversation yesterday at KXU. Not that it happened in KXU, but with the client. She was like, "Oh gosh, it gets a bit depressing here in the winter." Do you know what I find the most depressing? Is that you will look at someone, you will smile, and they literally look away.
Well, they think
and I
you're
don't
nuts.
think, I'm not saying that's a British thing. I think maybe that's a London thing. I don't see this
City
happening
thing, yeah.
up north. I went to
agree.
Belfast to run teacher training recently, and they're another level of friendly. I'm like, I feel like I'm in Perth again. So every time we visit Australia, my daughter and I laugh. We're like, why are they being so friendly?
Why is everyone
Are they
smiling
really
at
that
us?
friendly?
She's
They
like a
are. They really
vampire.
are that friendly.
But
But they have a lot of sunshine.
There you go.
And, without the sunshine and months on end in darkness and with little sunshine, I think it
Has an impact.
mentally affects us.
Definitely.
Right,
That's
so
why
I've
I
got...
escape every year.
Yeah, that's a great
Was that my
answer.
that,
That's
were they
great.
my questions?
Yeah.
No, that was her
That's
question.
mine.
Now it's my
Uh-oh.
question. So I've had two questions, but I was just trying to think which one I should bring up. But, knowing that you have so many A-listers and you still have them in Fulham coming and people are talking about it. I remember when I firstly heard about you I used to live in South Kensington. So obviously everything was happening just near KXU. So I wanted to meet this woman. If you were to go internationally, because that's what I wanted to get to, with the A-listers and everything.
Yes.
Would you take PBB to back home to Australia, or would you rather have it in LA or Hollywood?
We've been approached.
Okay. Or Dubai.
We've been approached by people from Doha,
Okay.
from Dubai, Lebanon.
Wow.
Yep. Recently, not recent as this morning, a girl called me saying she wanted to become a PBB trainer, and then ended the conversation with, "I want to take the PBB method to Saudi."
Oh wow.
I was like, "Oh, okay." Where else? Portugal.
Yeah.
But none of it transpired. But what we do is international teacher training. I don't do the whole PBB method training, but I teach them the magic of how we teach, or what I would put my trainers through in their teacher training, or what I expect within our classes in PBB and our affiliates.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
You're welcome.
And I think you are, like an icon in Fulham, alongside so many, other businesses. But in what you do, I think, you came first with your personality. I think that's what draws people towards you. And
Thank
we
you,
enjoyed the
Zara.
story. Thank you.
We did. It's lovely to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Should
Lovely
we
to
thank
meet
our
you.
lovely
so we must
studio?
say a
Yes.
huge
Thank
thank
you,
you
Naomi.
to the team at Blueprint Studios, this gorgeous space, for having us here today and hosting us. And thank you
Thank
once
you.
again.
I
for
love
Thank
having
you
it.
us.
ever so much.